Hello everyone, this is Mushroom TT here. This is the first time I'm doing a voiceover, so if there's anything weird, please forgive me and I will do better next time. But most of the time it will be weird because of my accent, but there's nothing I can do about it, so deal with it, bro. So I have played Azur Lane. Wait, Azur Lane? How do you even pronounce it?
Azur Lane.
Basically, this game does turn all the warships from World War II into girls, which is
nice.
Not sponsored, by the way. You hear that, Yostar? Before we start, I know this video is for beginners, but if you still don't know how to enhance or limit break, then you should go through the tutorial first before watching, so you know the basics of the game. If you're an old player, feel free to watch as well. If there's any problem or suggestions, you can just leave a comment and I will be happy to talk about it. The first part will be about formation. Second part will be how to use item or which item you should use on your ships. Wait, girls? Ship girls? No, what's the word again? Ah, waifus! And the third will be how to farm all the chapters correctly and efficiently. Okay, so enough of introduction, let's go into part 1, which is formation. So there's a lot of ships. Wait, what am I saying? Waifus. Do you have big and small, old and young? Wait, young? Oh, shh!
FBI, open up!
So there we have lots of ship types, like light and heavy cruisers, carriers and light carriers, battleships and battlecruisers, etc. You will need 6 to make up a fleet, and there will be front and back in the game, which is main and main guard. And also only destroyers, light and heavy cruisers can be placed at the front line. The back line is only for carriers, battleships or the repair ships. After the first few newbie chapters, you will start using 2 fleets to battle in the later chapters. So you need to plan out what fleets you should use. So 2 fleets will have separate jobs. One, I call it the boss team, and another I call it midway. I call it midway is because before you fight the boss team in one of the stages inside of a chapter, you have to fight a lot of enemies on the way before the boss fleet will come out, or maybe the enemy's flagship. So you have to use a midway team to clear out all those mobs, so your boss fleet will have full power and full health to fight the boss. Okay, so the first spot I want to talk about is the one at the front line over here. I call it the tank, aka the one gets shot a lot. When in battle, whoever is at this spot will at the front of the fleet most of the time, which means it will have the highest chance to getting hit from incoming damage. So I recommend to use a heavy cruiser instead of a destroyer and light cruiser, because heavy cruisers will have a higher health pool compared to the destroyer and light cruisers. And destroyer and light cruisers only have light armors, and heavy cruisers will have medium armor. For beginners, if you don't have much ships yet, don't worry about it, just use whatever you have in your dock. Okay, everything is fine. Until you have the better ones or the ones that you like. Prince Eugen and Portland will be my top picks for beginners. To get Prince Eugen, you will only need to have a login streak in total of 7 days, which is
その間、鍵穴に目を近づけるのはいけないことでしょうか。Nice!
She have a very high HP pool, and her skill is very strong for defending from enemy fire. For every 20 seconds, there is a chance based on skill level to deploy 3 rotating shields that can each block up to 10 shells, and it lasts for 10 seconds. She's overall very tanky and have a utility skill that can help the team, but in exchange her DPS, let's say it's not best. And for Portland, you can get her from farming chapter 3, stage 4, and I'm pretty sure you're gonna spend a lot of time over here, but that's for another video. Portland, she is a beast. Because of her low rarity, you can get her very easily. Her overall set is very good, and also she can be retrofit, which means she can get even stronger.
Oh yeah? If you're telling her that's so strong, then why did you retrofit her, huh?
Let's say that I just have better ship to use. I'm not aware, I swear!
この味は嘘をついてる味だぜ。ジョルノ・ジョバーナ。
Okay, I might borrow a little power from money. So okay, we're kind of off the topic. We only talk about defensive heavy cruisers, but if you want to go some like high DPS heavy cruiser, you can go with Takao, Atago, and Wichita. But if you're a beginner, I don't expecting you to get them that fast unless you're a whale. Okay, now we finished talking about the first one. Now we talk about the middle one. The middle one, I call it the safe zone, which is the one who receive the less damage. The middle position is very simple. Just put the most vulnerable ship you'd have over that position. For example, like destroyers. Destroyers usually have very low health pool, but they can do a lot of damage. So, at the start of the game will let you choose one of the 3 destroyers as your starter ship. And that is Javelin, Laffy, and Z-23. They are very strong destroyers and they also can be retrofit. At the start of the game, you can only choose 1 out of the 3. So if you want to get them all, you can get them from all of the chapters. Besides chapter 1, they will have a chance to drop, so get going for those farming. Oh, and also, if you level up 3 of them up to level 70, and fully level break them, you can get Ayanami, which is one of the strongest destroyer in the game. You can also put light cruiser at the middle spot. For me, I just put Helena because her skill is so good that helps the entire team. Yeah, you can put light cruiser, it's totally fine. Okay, now we're at the last one at the front line. This is the sub tank as I call it. Once you decide what you use for the first 2, basically you can just use anything around here as long as it's not too squishy. So for light cruisers, you can use like Cleveland. She have a very balanced stat and with a skill that can buff the entire front fleet and also have pretty good anti-airs as well. If you don't have her yet, you can use the sister ships from the same class like Columbier, Montpelier, and the Denver. Hey, even her younger self can also do the job just fine. And for heavy cruisers, it's optional. You can use the heavy cruisers, but just keep in mind that you have to use the one that is more focused on DPS instead of defending. If you don't have any, then just use a light cruiser instead. But overall, just don't use a destroyer at the end because they're gonna go diving very soon if you put them there. But well, if you really want to use a destroyer, no one's gonna stop you anyway. Okay, now we finished talking about the front. Let's talk about back. The most important one is the middle one, which is you can see that little flag icon on top of the middle one. That means whoever is on that position, it's the flagship of the entire fleet. So this is how the game works. If your entire front fleet go GG'd, your game go GG'd. If your flagship go GG'd, then you go also go GG'd. No matter how many ships are still afloat or alive. That is why that spot is so important. You have to use a battleship at all time. Don't use a carrier. Because carrier, they just like glass cannon. After their planes take off and they're just gonna stand there and doing nothing. Even the suicide bomber just right in front of them, they're just gonna take it like a champ. And besides, battleships have very high HP and heavy armors. Why not using them? If you really don't have any battleship, then just use a battle cruiser. Just don't use a carrier. Well, if you really want to use them, it's your choice, no one's gonna stop you. Battleship for beginners, you can use Arizona and Pennsylvania. Arizona can heal and Pennsylvania have a very strong barrage. Later on, if you have Nelson or Rodney, you can use them too. Both of them have very strong barrages as well. If you're a whale, like me, Tulsa, Richelieu, Duke of York, and Washington are all very good in their own way. If you have any of those, just use them. They won't disappoint you. For beginners that don't have a battleship, you can use a battle cruiser instead. Repulse, Renown, and Issei is all very good. Issei can be retrofit and she will get a very strong skill after that. So she is the priority out of the 3. Fuso and Yamashiro is also very good and can be retrofit. You can get them by farming chapter 6, stage 2, 3, and 4. If you are lucky to get Hood and Amagi, then good on you, rich boy. Amagi have a pretty high damage, also have a very good support skill, and for Hood, as long as she can stop acting and fire her barrage, I'm sure you will be fine. And as for carriers, there's a lot of options. There are attack carriers and support carriers. For damage, you can go for Ark Royal and Hornet. They can do a lot of damage, as long as the RNG Jesus is on your side. And as for support, you can use Yoktang and Unicorn. If you are a free-to-play player, hurry up and get your ass over to chapter 3. In this chapter, stage 1, 2, and 3, you can get Xiaoyu and Hiyu. At the stage 4, you can get Akagi and Kaga. Each pairs of these carriers have to go into the same fleet so you can get their full potential. Oh, and the damage? They can send your enemies straight down to Davy Jones' Laka. If you're wondering how long I have been farming chapter 3, I'm just gonna show you a clip and this is how I feel. If you are not a free-to-play player, then you must have Saratoga. You can get her from your first top-up in the game. She's pretty good for beginners as well. And if you are lucky enough to get Enterprise and Illustrious, then good on you! What, you want a cookie? One of them which is the best attack carrier and another which is the best support. As for repair ship, it's only 2 in the game, Visto and Akashi. Visto will drop at chapter 6 stage 1, and as for Akashi, you will need to go to her shop and click on her for 30 times, and she will give you a bunch of quests. Finish all of them and then you will get her. For repair ship, they don't have a main gun, instead they have a repair tool that can heal your fleet, but they do have 2 slots of anti-air gun, so they have some pretty good anti-air fire. And this is it! Congratulations! Now you have learned how to organize your fleet. Maybe. It's okay. Remember, this is a waifu game. Meta doesn't matter. Just play the one you like. Anyway, this is the end of the first class. If you like it, please leave a like, and I will do the second tips, which is on what items you should use very soon. Maybe. If you want to watch the next video, please subscribe and leave a comment for any advice or improvement that I can make. I'm Mushroom TT. Thank you for watching my video, and I will see you all next time.